Happy Valentine's Day from the buttered home to your home. I'm Brooke, and today we are celebrating a very special Valentine's Day with you here in my messy kitchen. We look forward to this all year. One of the very first recipes that we shared with our viewers back in 2018 when we started was a recipe that I lovingly call Pinkies. Now what it is brownies but strawberry. So they're Pinkies, right? This one is one of those great shortcut recipes that uses a cake mix, and you would never know it because we're gonna doctor it up, dress it up, and all of the things, and it's only with a few simple ingredients. So let's get started. All right, we have our oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I have a sort of a large bowl here. And to that, we're going to add our strawberry store-bought cake mix. Yes, I know, I love scratch-made cooking, but let's just be honest. Sometimes we want to take a few shortcuts just to keep things interesting. So to that, we're going to add 1/3 cup of vegetable or canola oil. And y'all might hear Millie whining. She thinks that I'm supposed to be holding her, and she doesn't even need to be in here right now. So I have 2 eggs that I'm going to add to the mixture. And this recipe can be found, like all of our others, over at thebutteredhome.com. And then we just want a little pinch of salt in there just to kind of make things interesting. So first I'm going to break up my eggs. And you can do this with a hand mixer, but there's just really no need. It comes together nicely. And it's going to be thicker than you're used to. So I'm gonna swap my whisk now for a spatula and rinse my whisk off because I'm gonna need it in just a minute for something else. But you'll notice right off that the consistency here is much different than that of a cake. It's going to be really thick. So you're just going to kind of have to work all that in with your spatula. And the great thing about a cake mix is that, well, it's a cake mix, so it's got some stuff in it that helps keep it kind of tender and moist. So the eggs do a really good job. We added 2 of those because we want more of a brownie-like consistency. Now I have this 8x8 pan that I have sprayed with just a little spray just to affix my parchment in here. So the parchment doesn't do a lot in the way of keeping them from sticking. It does, but it's really meant for us to have these 2 handles. So I leave it overlapping on the side so that we can easily get our brownies out of the pan. Now we like our brownies thick, so I'll do these in an 8x8 or a 9x9 pan, but you can certainly do it in like an 8.5x11 if you want them a little thinner. Big D likes them thick, and strawberry is one of his favorite things. So we make them like Big D wants them. Like that's most everything here. Then I'm just going to lightly spread them out. And the parchment can kind of make that difficult, but what's great about that is that you don't really have to do a great job because as you cook them, they'll even out themselves. So I just take the spatula and just make sure that it's even all the way across and just stretch it to the ends. Now this will go into a 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. We're going to put that in now and let those be cooking. Wash that cake mix off my hands. Now you can do this right before they get done, but for time's sake, we're going to go ahead and do it now. We're going to make a simple glaze. This glaze is not flavored. We really want it there for looks. We don't want it there for flavor because we want our pinkies to shine. So I have a cup of confectioner's or powdered sugar, and I'm just gonna run my whisk through it to try to help get some of the bumps and lumps out of there. And then I've got just some milk on hand. Now this will take you somewhere between 2 and 4 tablespoons. So I like to add about a tablespoon at a time. And this is not rocket science. You're just melting this sugar into the milk. All right, so that's not enough. So we're gonna add just a little bit more. Now the trick to this is you don't wanna add too much all at once, because if it's too thin, the only way to recover from that is to add more sugar. And that's not necessarily what we need to do. So I like mine a little thicker, but this is about 2 tablespoons of milk consistency right here. And you can do the drip test. So I usually go somewhere between 2 and 3 tablespoons, probably 2.5 for mine, because we want this to like glaze and harden into like a crunchy, just aesthetic to the brownies. And there we go. It's a little thinner, and that's the way I like it. It'll still harden, but it won't be this thick, sugary glob sitting on top of the pinky. So we're gonna set this aside, and then once those come out of the oven, we'll pour this on top, allow it to sit, cool, and harden. Then we'll take them out and cut them, and we'll be back to show you the finished product. So hang on, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. I just pulled these beauties out of the oven. Oh, my house smells divine. So if you wanted to, you could do a test just to see if they're as done as you want. I've already done that with my little cake tester, and they came out just fine. So we're gonna take our glaze now, and we're just going to drizzle it over the top. And make sure you get all that good glaze. And you do this while the pinkies are hot, so that you can just kind of spread it around. And as the brownies or pinkies cool, so will this glaze. We're gonna get this glaze all spread out. And yes, you can use a spatula. However, I am all about using what you have on hand. And there are some people who don't use a spatula a lot, so they don't own one. So this, I'm just gonna illustrate to you that you can use whatever you have on hand, and it works just as good, doesn't hurt a thing. So we're just making sure that all that is evenly spaced. And if you wanted to, and it's really hot, so I really can't do it, but you can take it and you can tip it if you have more on one side than the other. And tip it around, and you'll see it's already starting to harden. So we're gonna let this sit and let it cool and harden. Then we're gonna come back and take them out and show you how beautiful they are. So stay with us for this very special Valentine's Day Pinkies edition. All right, these have cooled beautifully, so now I'm going to show you how to easily take them out of the pan. So that's what this parchment paper is for. Now, if I had been smart, I would have put it across both ends, but it's okay because we can loosen it like that and take them out, and then they tend to just bounce right back. Now, if you're like me, one of the messiest things about brownies is cutting them. So I like to start in the center and just cut straight through. Then you can come, and I use kind of a big knife for this, and just cut those out. Ooh, they're still a little hot, so let me get a spatula. And y'all, it's perfection, absolute perfection. And if they're still warm when you cut them, some of that glaze will just kind of drizzle down to the side. So let's move the camera and then we'll come back and stack them up and show you how neat they look. And they're really great Valentine's Day gift or day after Valentine's Day gift if you wanted to make them for tomorrow. So hang on real quick. So I don't know about you, but that's love on a plate right there. Lots of good strawberry goodness. And you know what's great about this is that you can take just about any cake mix and do this with. This just happens to be one of our favorites. But just like so many of our other buttered home recipes, there's no limit to what you can do. You can get 2 cake mixes, double everything, and make a large pan if you wanted it. Or you can use another flavor entirely. Cake mixes are not just for cakes. So I challenge you 2 things. First, to make these Pinkie brownies. They will show somebody how much you love them. A little time in the kitchen is worth a whole lot of love from your heart, and the Pinkie brownies are a great way to do that. Second, I challenge you to get creative and think about things that you can take that are not necessarily meant to be made for this, but for something else. Finding ways to change things up in the kitchen keeps things interesting and keeps you involved in cooking and keeps you liking to cook. So I find that, like with a lot of other things, cooking more helps me want to cook more. And we hope that it would for you too. So we hope that you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I sincerely love each and every one of you. If it were not for you, the buttered home would not be a thing. And y'all, we're going on 4 years this year celebrating, and that's a big deal. I never thought that anybody would be interested in what I was doing, because I'm just a southern girl from Alabama who loves to cook. And I hope that we can bring that to you in your home as well. Millie's whining. I know you can hear her, so we're not going to stay around much longer, but we hope that you'll go to thebutteredhome.com where you can find this recipe and all of our recipes as well. As usual, we hope that you would follow us on all of our social platforms too, because we have a really good time here at The Buttered Home. And as always, if you haven't already, be sure that you hit that subscribe button over at YouTube, and you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. Y'all, I love y'all, and y'all have a very happy Valentine's Day. From the buttered home to your home. Bye.